Welcome back to the Explainer. You know, if there is one thing that can absolutely make or break a new blockchain project, it's the tokenomics. If the underlying math is flawed, the best tech in the world literally doesn't matter. Today, we're diving straight into the official Univex Network white paper to demystify something that honestly trips up a lot of people, their dense token metrics table. So if you've ever stared at one of these charts and felt like you were reading an alien language, don't worry, we've all been there. We're going to translate all that complex data into a crystal clear breakdown of the Univex dual token ecosystem. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how the gears of this network actually turn. Okay, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll hit the Univex dual token system, then unlocking the supply metrics. Third, we'll compare the system use cases, and finally, wrap up with the emission and allocation rules. Let's get into it. Starting off with Section 1, the Univex dual token system, engine and steering wheel. To really grasp what Univex is building here, we have to talk about the dual token ecosystem concept. Historically, we've seen so many projects try to make a single token do absolutely everything. But, well, when one token is your medium of exchange and your governance asset, it almost always leads to a compromised network. Think about it. If the token's value spikes, network fees get so high that daily transactions are just impossible. But if the value tanks, suddenly your network is wide open to malicious governance attacks. Univex avoids this whole trap by using two distinct assets. You've got the UVX Ecosystem Utility Token and the Univex Network Governance Token. It helps to think of this like a vehicle. The UVX Utility Token is the engine, right? It's furiously driving daily activity, pumping energy through the whole system. Meanwhile, the Univex Governance Token acts as the steering wheel, giving you that careful, deliberate control to guide the protocol's long-term direction. You really need both to get where you're going safely. Moving right along to Section 2, unlocking the supply metrics, UVX versus governance. So the UVX utility token operates on a massive scale. We're looking at a 12 billion total fixed supply for UVX. But it's launching with an initial circulating supply of just 2 billion tokens. That leaves a staggering 10 billion for future release. Now you might be wondering, why so huge? Well, back to our engine analogy. If UVX is the fuel for millions of daily microtransactions, you absolutely need a vast supply so the unit price actually stays practical for everyday use. The last thing you want is a utility token so scarce that people just hoard it. You want it flowing effortlessly through the ecosystem. That 10 billion token buffer, that's basically your long-term sustainability guarantee, ensuring there's always enough fuel in the tank for global adoption over the coming decades without suddenly hitting a liquidity wall. Now compare that directly to the Univex Governance Token, and you see a completely different strategy. It has a way tighter total fixed supply, just 1.5 billion tokens, which is a fraction of UVX, and it starts with a heavily restricted 300 million initially circulating. Let's be clear, this is not the token you're spending on a cup of coffee. This is built for network security and voting weight. By locking down that initial circulating supply to just 300 million, the network is fundamentally protecting itself. It makes it incredibly difficult, not to mention insanely expensive, for a single bad actor to accumulate enough tokens for a hostile takeover. In this case, scarcity isn't just an economic feature, it is quite literally a security feature. The real takeaway here is that this 12 billion to 1.5 billion ratio immediately sets up the distinct roles for these assets. It firmly establishes UVX as the highly liquid, high-volume medium for daily use while preserving the governance token as the scarce structural powerhouse. It's that classic balance of scale versus scarcity, perfectly engineered right into the foundation of the white paper. Next up, Section 3, System Use Cases Compared, Daily Action versus Network Control. This functional divide we've been talking about gets super clear when you look at the actual mechanics of these tokens. UVX is your daily driver. As the white paper